Okay, so let's start off today. Now, if you're not logged into Top Hat, you probably saw me reveal that. So it's Friday. I know it's been a long week. I mean, if yeah, happy Friday. I'm so glad this week is over. Actually, I'm glad whenever any work week is over. I'm still working on the weekends, but I mean, this week has been especially crazy. Good news is that the sim lab went well for the med students. Now back to focus on my other favorite class, the Phil 141 class. Okay, so so if you can, please log into Top Hat. So today's going to be pretty interactive, pretty light, because again, now we're on muscle anatomy, and a lot of this you have to, like, I can keep on, I can point out every single muscle, but this is one of those things, like the way to memorize it, the way to identify things are doing it on your own time. One common question is like, should I buy the anatomy coloring book now? If you put it off and you don't have it already, thing is that the anatomy coloring book takes time and it's not as efficient if you're trying to cram in like trust me, if you get it like start like 2 days before the exam, you're going to be like over it really soon. Like it takes time to color every single one of that. That's kind of how it works. It allows you to take the time. You're not supposed to like go through the entire book in one sitting. It's supposed to be something that you do at a relaxed pace and kind of like do it gradually over time. So if you haven't bought it yet, I suggest you don't buy it right now because unless you're really dedicated once you get it, but you may have a very limited study time. All right, so we are on muscular anatomy. And let's start off with, so again, if you watch the YouTube video, hopefully you watched the YouTube video. So with these two views, and there's also the OpenStack version. So this list of muscles here, here, and here, and here. I think the Martini version has more than the OpenStack's version, but it kind of makes sense because the Martini version has more detailed images. So at least 50% of the muscular anatomy will come from this list. It might not be this picture again. Sometimes I show you a zoomed in version to help you identify it because it gives you a bigger muscle to look at, bigger target to look at. So let's actually go to Top Hat real quick and let's see who's been studying ahead. All right. So please log into Top Hat. And let's start the first question. Now, this type of question will not appear as a regular exam question. I don't think, yeah, I think we'll see how it goes today. But it won't show, again, all the exam 2 questions will be multiple choice. But what I'm going to test you here is if you can identify and locate these muscles. Because I might point out a muscle in the exam and ask you to name it. So let's start this question. So for this question, what you have to do is click just the yellow square. That highlights the deltoid. So there are multiple squares, but only one of them is correctly highlighting the deltoid. All you do is click. And let's see. Now this is what I like. So most of you said up here on the shoulder part, and most of you are correct. So yes, this is the deltoid, one of the deltoids. The other deltoid wasn't highlighted by a yellow box. Okay, next question. So hopefully it's just a few warm-up questions. Now click on the yellow square highlighting the biceps brachii. Okay, let's see how everyone did. And looks like most of you clicked here and most of you are correct. That is the biceps brachii. And some of you are clicking here. This is actually the brachialis. So this small part, people who did this. And this part right here is the brachioradialis. So yeah, the biceps brachii. So these were like underhanded pitches. I'm trying to start you off, not trying to trick you. But again, this is in your Martini slides as well. Next question. Now let's look at the lower anterior body. Which is the yellow square highlighting the rectus femoris? And hey, if you're having trouble, what does femoris sound like? Okay, let's see how everyone did. So most of you clicked this, and yes, most of you are correct. That is the rectus femoris. Again, big hint that it's on the femur. Now, next question. Now click the vastus lateralis. Some of you clicked that in the previous question. So now you know which one is the rectus femoris, but which one is the vastus lateralis? Okay, let's see how everyone did. So most of you clicked that spot hot spot on the right side of this picture, actually the patient's left side, but in terms of the picture, yeah, this is the left, this one right here, and most of you are correct. That's the vastus lateralis. And again, hey, vastus sounds like vast, but which is lateral, which is medial? So remember those anatomical directions: medial toward the midline, lateral away from the midline. So yeah, that's the vastus lateralis. Good to see no one clicked the rectus femoris, because I'm like, okay, maybe they came in late. All right, so back to our regular presentation, and there will be more Top Hat questions later on, so don't log out of Top Hat and close it quite yet. Yeah, so the thing about this is that I'm asking you to name a muscle, or I'm naming a muscle and asking you to locate it. The thing is that you should also know the other way around. Like go from if I point out a muscle, you should be able to name it. And yeah, I think this is fun. Actually, when I was an undergrad and studying with my friends, what we would do was study, and then we would play a game. Like we point to a muscle, we cover up all the names, and we would try to stump the other person, try to say like, hey, can you tell me what this muscle is? Can you tell me what the origin? Okay, don't worry about forget I said that, but yeah, can you tell me what this muscle is? So we kind of quiz each other, and like whoever gets it right, you get a point. If you lose it, you don't get a point. And I think remember one time when we got really good at that, we would try to come up with the most smallest or most hardest questions, and we would kind of challenge each other, and then whoever got the most points, or the loser had to buy the other person's pizza for the night. So that was real fun. So yeah, you can make it into a game. And again, it helps you practice as well. And especially you're not going to unless you want to give up a point to your friend, you might not choose something like gluteus maximus or deltoid. You might choose one of the smaller muscles. But again, I think that's where studying with a group or a partner is really fun. You don't have to work with one, but we often made it a game of things.